GingerGM.
Hello, how are you all doing? I hope you're doing well. I'm going to do a couple of hours of streaming. I'm trying to make this a little bit more regular when I can. So whenever I get a spare sort of hour or two, I'll try to do a stream. Eventually, I will set things up so I have a schedule like a proper normal human being. You know, most human beings get up at a certain time, go to work at a certain time, do that at a certain time. I've never really been one of them, but I'll try to fit into society like that at some point in my life. Yeah, it should be fun today, and I've spent quite a lot of time today just tripping out a little bit and finding some really weird and cool puzzles to share with you, basically. I'm going to share some of those puzzles with you now, and a lot of them I find, you know, chess does reflect life, and you know, life is very complicated and contains a lot of different emotions. So does chess, and the puzzles I've got set up for you, which we'll start the show with. We'll start the show with some puzzles. I'll make this show a little bit more informative than some of the other ones I've done in the past past week, and I'll finish by playing one of you guys in the chat. So I'm going to keep an eye on the chat as always on my Twitch channel. So that's twitch.tv/GingerGM, and if you subscribe, that will give you a great chance to get in a game against me. Do subscribe to my channel; it's well worth it. It's going to be great. I can see PPRTS. Hello, PPRTS. Is a subscriber there, and yeah, hello to everyone else. So do subscribe to the channel if you can. But I'll also be watching the chat over on chess.com and /TV. So I'll be keeping an eye on the chat for both of those things. So the person who basically does really the best in these puzzles and is nice, you know, you've got to be nice, I'll play a long play game against later on, and I'll go through my thought process there. So yeah, as Aldo was saying in the chat, I like your new sponsors. Well, the thing is, this backdrop I've got here, let me just disappear. It's actually a chessboard made of Coke. I think my chair's in the way, but hopefully you can see that. It's Coke versus Pepsi, which I thought was pretty cool. And I remember once, well, I remember a couple of times actually, playing chess with different versions of chess at amusing times. And the first puzzle I've got here is an amusing puzzle, so we might as well start off this show in an amusing way as we can. And I remember once playing with a friend of mine before we went, you know, Friday night used to be our going out nights where I used to live. Everyone used to work, including myself, and used to go out on Friday. And I remember we tried to play. He wasn't a particularly great chess player, but we attempted to play a game of shot chess. So we had a chessboard like behind with shot glasses. And like the king was a whiskey, the queen was a vodka, and it got down to some ending. And by the time I got down to the pub, by the time we both got down to the pub to meet our friends, I was in a worse state because I had to take more of his pieces. I had to go home again because I was so drunk. So that's what this chessboard reminds me of. It was quite funny. I've also got some other stories of playing chess and various things, but they're not particularly PC for this time, so we'll save that for another time. Anyway, let's get the show going, and this first puzzle is, I think it's a really funny puzzle. It's one of the most amusing and weirdest puzzles I've seen, but it certainly shows you that even chess can have a sense of humour, I think. And this puzzle, it is white to play and win. So it's obviously not a win in one move. Now white is going up the board, going that way, of course. And this position is actually possible to get in real chess. I actually checked this, being a sad chess geek I am. I actually tried to work out if I could arrange and get to a position like this in a game, and it took me a couple of hours actually, but I found a sequence of moves where you could actually get this position, which is really weird. But it is in this position, white to play and win. Thank you, Tom F51, who who has just subscribed. And it's a good way to support me. It's a good way to get me to stream more, come up with more stuff that will help you. And, it's just very kind. It's a good way to support me, and hopefully I give something back as well. You can subscribe on... You can subscribe on... what's it called? Amazon Prime as well, if you want to. Okay, so let's have a go. Have a go at solving this. So it's not checkmate in one move, obviously. You've got to find a pattern in this. Don't just tell me the first move. You've got to tell me, as soon as you see the first couple of moves, you will see the pattern. And the old man in the corner, I like that name. That's a good little name. The old man in the corner has got the right first move. So the old man in the corner, that's in my Twitch chat. Hello to people in the chess.com chat as well, so Lee Dash. But on the Twitch chat, and hello to everyone else who's watching it, maybe on chess.com Twitch as well. The first move, it's white to move. Obviously, white's trying to win this. Black can't win this because he's only got his king. It's white to move and white to win. And it's a very interesting little sequence now that white does. And while you have a go at that, I'm just going to see if we're up on the chess Twitch channel as well. If we are, I'd like to say hello to you there. I don't think we are over there. Okay, but we're on the TV there. No worries. Okay, so anyone got any ideas how we do this? Anyone got any ideas? Anyone at all? Let's have your suggestions. So the first move, and I'm keeping an eye mainly on my Twitch channel now, because you all seem very friendly in my Twitch channel. Let's keep an eye on my Twitch channel. The first move is the rather weird-looking castle's queenside. So that's the first move. And then you've got to work out a sequence, and it's a really weird sequence, how you can force the black king into a checkmate position. And I'll give you another 30 seconds to solve this. And if you can't do it, I'll tell you the kind of sequence. It's quite a long puzzle, but as soon as you see the first couple of moves, it actually becomes very easy. It becomes very easy. So Drew has the right idea. Well done, Drew. Yeah, well done, Drew. That's good. But tell me the move. So let's have a look. Okay, I'm going to give the first move. Make it a little bit easier. Castle's queenside. I'd love to play that move at this moment of the game. That'd be so cool. Oh, hello, Charlie the ginger cat, who's asleep in the other room at the moment. That's, I don't know why you're logging in. You're supposed to be sleeping, Charlie. And hello to everyone else who's now joined in. So castles is the first move. Now, one way you've got to get better at chess is to always consider your opponent's best responses. And black only has one response here. So his only response is king takes a7. Now, this is the hard move to see. As soon as you see the next move, this puzzle actually becomes pretty darn easy. Pretty darn easy. And I think it put a smile on my face, and I'm hoping it will put a smile on your face as well. So what is the right move? So, Steel. Well done, sir. Steel. Congratulations. And National Patzer also seems to have got the right solution. So a couple of you that's in the Twitch chat have got the right solution. Well done. Looking over on the chess.com TV / chat, James has got the right answer, and Time Traveller, thank you. The Classical Dutch is still playable, to answer your question quickly. Okay, so that now we have a very funny sequence, and it's this sequence always, I think even every single problem and puzzle and chess composition, you call them, which people create, and obviously this position was created. It was created, I believe, by an American player a long time ago. Has some relevance to chess, and this one is thinking about your opponent's possibilities and basically restricting them and forcing your opponent into a bad position. And look at this now; it's beautiful. Rook d8. So you're restricting your opponent's king. The opponent's king cannot move to any of these squares. It has to take the pawn. So it has to come down the board. This is the only move. So what do we play now? We play Rook to d7. And again, we're thinking about where our opponent's king can do. you might see a pattern emerging here. It can't go to any of these squares. It's got to come down the board. Here it comes. Hopefully you can all see the pattern now. It's a very beautiful little pattern. And now, of course, we go rook d6. It's the same principle. And we're forcing the king. Can you see how this is going to finish? Hopefully you can all see how this is going to finish. I think it's a very funny little puzzle. And the king comes down. And now we go rook to d5. And, of course, the little amusing puzzle continues. King takes pawn. Rook d4. This is move 6. Only one move. King takes... Oh, no, hang on a minute. King takes a2. And here, our final move, we cut the king off one last time. Rook to d3. There's no more pawns left. We've lost 8 pawns in a row. 8 pawns, is that right? What am I doing? Hallucinate? 1, 2, 3... No, 7 pawns. 1, 2, 3, 4... 6 pawns, of course. God, going crazy. 6 pawns in a row. And after king a1, rook to a3 is checkmate. And as Sai Chess Delia has said, this is a bit like Pac-Man. It's a bit like Pac-Man. It's funny, but it's an interesting... I thought that puzzle was really quite a load of fun when I first saw it. I mean, so it certainly put a smile on my face. And it kind of shows you how you've got to think, about your opponent's moves a lot in chess. Now, the next one I've got saved up for you is a lovely little... I searched through some... I've got loads of old chess magazines. My dad used to play chess. That's how I learnt. He's in his 80s now. He learnt when he was very young, and he's got all his collection. So I've got good chess material. So I sometimes go through them to prepare material for these shows. And it takes me a long time to prepare the material generally. It's a lot easier playing Blitz or something like that, but it's nice to have a mix, I think, of shows. And the next one is a weird little position, and again, a bit like the last position. When you first look at this, you might think, okay, this looks a bit boring. It looks a little bit boring. And by the way, hello Yayborn, glad you can join in. I'll show you how you can actually get that puzzle, because I did work it out, but I didn't save it at the moment. I'll show you how you can actually get to that position. Should I do it now? Should I try to find it? I'll do it next time, because I've got more puzzles to go through. And again, I'm keeping an eye on everyone who's doing very well in the thing. Okay, Aldo is saying, what's wrong with King C2 and leaving him on the 8th rank? Oh, don't spoil the puzzle. Oh, come on, Aldo. That one was much more amusing. There might be other answers. Okay, so in this one here, whereabouts were you saying, Aldo? Okay, so after here, maybe? Well, I mean, you can win this, of course, by playing Rook D6 and bringing your king in and winning like that. But actually, the way that it was done in the game was only 8 moves. And okay, there probably are, of course, other ways to do it, but that was an amusing one. Anyway, let's move on. So the next puzzle I found, and when I looked at this, I originally thought it's, by the way, white to play and win. And like most of the puzzles I'm going to show you today, you're going to have to think more than one move ahead. But most of the puzzle I'm showing you all have one theme in mind. Like the last puzzle, it had a theme, as you saw, of basically letting the opponent's king fall down the ladder of pawns. That king just fell down the ladder, and you had to chase it little by little. This one here may look incredibly complicated, but this is actually winning. So finding the first move might be easy, and don't cheat with a computer. Anyone who uses a computer, what's the fun in that? That's no fun. Try to do it yourself. That's the only way you're going to get better. It's white to play and win. Now we're assuming that you know how to checkmate with bishop and knight versus king. Very hard to do so, and one way I got good at that was by practicing against a computer numerous times. And even now, when I practice the computer, I don't do it all the time. I mean, it's not easy. But assuming you do know how to checkmate, let's imagine you can eliminate black's bishop and black's pawn. Let's imagine that you will be able to you'll be able to win then. And it's just a nice little puzzle. I just like this one. It's very pretty. And again, I think it has some kind of beauty or chess sense of humour attached to this. And Dominus is a Deus. Basically has found the correct answer. In this position originally, it might look impossible because, how on earth do you have any chance of winning this? But it really is all about, don't pull the trigger with a discovered check, because you can move your knight now and give a check with a bishop. But you want to keep that as an option. The threat is stronger than the execution. What this is about is dominating your opponent's bishop. So what we're trying to do now is dominating the black bishop on c8. We want to chase that bishop down. How are you going to chase that bishop down? You only have your king to do it with. And I'm looking at the chess.com chat, and I think some of you have the right idea, like Richard56. You have the right idea. I've just got a notice that my monitor's bloody going to turn off. Thank you for telling me that. That's very kind. Oh no, don't do this to me, monitors. So I'll just quickly turn them on and off. They always do this on some weird timer. I'm sure I could sort that out. Okay, so have a think about it. If you go, just do what you need to do here. This is a very good trading exercise if I tell you the first move. Now, a lot of you may not think you can think far ahead. You may think, okay, I can only think a couple of moves ahead. But this puzzle is actually a very simplified version of the techniques you need to use in becoming a better chess player. And the techniques you need to use is you need to think ahead, and you need to consider your opponent's possibilities, his only possibilities, when you start a forced sequence of events. Thank you for the cheer there, Jumbo. Very kind. Thank you. You can donate and cheer and subscribe, people, if you want to. The first move is King B8. So if we were doing this in a game, before playing King B8, I'd work out now, I'm attacking my opponent's bishop. This is how I'd be thinking. If I can win the bishop, I will win, because I know how to checkmate with these two pieces. I should be able to win that last pawn. So now we've got to use the process of elimination. Where can my opponent's bishop move to? If it goes to a6, he loses it. So we just do one at a time. What if it goes to e6? How does white win if the bishop goes to e6? What is the winning idea for white here? And yes, I think Yaborn has got the right answer as well. And yes, I think this is really beautiful. This puzzle. Yeah, as Yaborn has said, and a couple other people, just attack the bishop with a knight, and this shows you that a threat is often stronger than the execution, because now when we do check the opponent's king, we obviously have made great progress, because when the king moves, we can take the bishop, and this position should be winning as long as you're careful. So the bishop can only move to one square, bishop d7, and what do we do here? And again, everyone, you can now play along with this as I'm going along. You've got to chase that bishop, and you've got to think where that bishop can go and how you're going to trap it eventually. Try to look into the future here. So now we just go king c7. And where can the bishop go now? Well, tell me, someone, what happens if it goes to a4? Let's eliminate the squares one by one. If the bishop goes to a4, what is the correct way to win that bishop now? By the way, if you want to donate, you have to go to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/GingerGM, and there's a donate button there. It'd be great if you could subscribe to the channel. You'll get updates of when I am doing streams. You get different emotes, and you can join in basically the community that we're creating over on chess.com. Okay, well, yeah, this one is pretty simple. We just have to move our knight again, the threat is stronger than the execution, and pull the trigger, and we win the bishop again. So where can the bishop move to? Well, it only has one square, bishop to e8, and you can probably see the pattern now. And the pattern continues, king to d8, and it's so funny. This is one of the only cases I've seen in chess, in any kind of chess puzzle, position, game, where in an open position, and it is an open position because, there's not many pawns on the board, there's nothing going on, where one king can dominate the opponent's bishop, because this king is really dominating that bishop. It's all about domination. Now, where can the bishop move again? Process of elimination. This is what you should be thinking when you're playing. Bishop to c6, we have knight d4 check. We win the bishop there. We know what happens if the bishop moves to this square here. We've seen that already. Now, what happens if the bishop moves to either g6 or h5? Let's imagine the bishop goes to one of those two squares. What can you play then? So if black moves the bishop to one of those two squares, and again, I really think this has got, this puzzle has got a bit of sense of humour to it, and it's also, I think, a very beautiful puzzle. It's got a beautiful, weird, warped sense of humour. Richard on chess.com chat, well done, you've got the right answer. And what else? Well, if it goes to g6, you don't want to play knight g3. Where else? Well, knight to f4 is easiest, isn't it? If we move our knight to f4, we are going to win the bishop, aren't we? Again, let's have a look at that. So, knights are tricky little so-and-sos. Bishop g6, and again, we have our discovered check. This is the best square because it covers these two squares. Boom. And we win the bishop again. So, after king d8, the bishop has to go to f7. What do we play now? King e7, and the bishop... Well, if it moves to any of these two squares, we're going to win it. For example, bishop to b3, knight d4 check, we win the bishop. And if bishop to a2, we play knight to c3 check, and we win the bishop. So the bishop has to go to g8. And what do we do now? We chase it down, king to f8, where it looks like the bishop should be safe, but it's not. Where can the bishop move? It can't move here, because knight to f4 check. It can't stay on this diagonal. None of these squares on the diagonal are safe for the bishop, and I love the way I've created a lovely sea of blue. Okay. Yeah, you have to catch the pawn after catching the bishop. We'll have a look at that. So let's just go through it a little bit more. This is still not easy to win, even when you catch the bishop, but it is winning. For example, now... bishop to h7, and here king g7, and you finally trap the bishop. And the way you'd want to win this position now is, well, let's say black plays a move like king to f2, because he's going to lose this piece. We take this piece, and now we've just got to try to win this pawn. This is the key thing, which we should be able to do. And as soon as we win that pawn, we have to know how to checkmate with bishop and knight versus king, which is a win. But this position is winning. You will win that pawn. You probably have to bring your king down to trap it. For example, let's have a look. King here. I'm probably not going to do this now. Pawn here. There's a very easy way of doing this. I'm going to go here. Let's say pawn here. If you don't move the pawn on f4, I'm going to go king f5 and take the pawn. So this is just one example of how to do it. Okay, I'll come back to that yay pawn in a second. Let's say here, for example, knight g3. When you go here, I can just keep a blockade now. There's no way that black can ever stop this, and my winning plan will be to bring my king down and eventually take your pawn. This is just one example. So king here, let's say king here, it doesn't matter, king here. Eventually the king won't be able to defend the pawn anymore. And at some point, like this, well, you have to be a bit careful because it's stalemate nearly here. Imagine that if I took that as stalemate, but you should be able to win that pawn. You get the idea anyway. I just have to be a little bit careful in this position. Black goes down. That's right, black's going down the board. Maybe that was a confusing thing, yay pawn. It's always hard to work out which way these pawns go. It's a bit confusing. Okay, well, I think we'll now move on to another little puzzle. Like I said, I'm keeping an eye on the chat to see who is really getting involved with the show today, because I will give one of those guys basically a game. One of you people who's doing well with the puzzles later on. That was quite a confusing puzzle, I have to say. I should make it clear which way people are going. If you look at the numbers on the side, that also helps, but I did set this up wrong sometime when I tried to set it up before. Next puzzle. Okay, so the next one. Again, I think this looks... When I looked at this, I was looking through the magazine, I found this, and I thought, oh, this looks quite boring. This is quite a boring position, because look, it's an end game. It's opposite coloured bishops, which is meant to be boring, when the bishops are on opposite squares. Why is this interesting at all? And it's white to play and win. That's the idea of this. And by the way, don't just tell me the first move. I'm trying to, throughout these puzzles, teach you something. And what I'm trying to teach you as well is this process of elimination. You can, if you find one move, and you will often have to find your opponent's best defense, and you might only have one move to defend. All these puzzles I've shown, really, black's only got one move to keep in the game. This puzzle is like that. When white plays a move, black only has one defense. White plays another move, black only has one defense. Thank you very much, Dancing Knight, for the donation, and we may well see some Dancing Knights later on in some of these puzzles. So let's have a look. First of all, let's have a look at the position. Just to make it clear, the white pawn is going that way. Okay, so that's the first thing. So how do we keep this game going? Well, what is the main issue with this position for black? What is the main issue for black here? The main issue is the black king. You've got to, one thing you've got to get to do in chess, and this is a very hard skill and people don't talk about it enough, is when you look at a position, and I would say a great way to practice this at home is to get a chess magazine and, you know, just look at a random position without looking at the notes. Try to work out yourself who's better, and then look at the notes, and hopefully the notes will have some good annotations. They have some good annotations, and you can compare the way you are thinking to the notes. So look at random positions. Try to improve your knowledge of looking at positions like this, because then when you're playing a game, you should be able to spot weaknesses in your opponent's position a lot quicker, ideas quicker, everything comes a bit better. Okay, so here, the black king, it can't move. Every square the black king tries to move to is controlled. So the black king is the major issue for black. So what do we need to do here? So the way I'd be thinking about this is I'd be trying to set up a checkmate threat against the black king. I don't really want to move my rook. My rook is doing a great job of cutting the king off. So I'd be thinking, don't move the rook. I don't want to move my pawn, because if we ever move the pawn, the black king, well, obviously black can take the pawn, but also the king would always be able to escape behind. Should be a draw. So I need to get my bishop. All I need to do is get the bishop into a position where it checks the king. That is all you need to do. And this is the opposite to the last puzzle where the bishop was dominated. This one is the bishop dominating. Sounds like something out of 50 Shades of Grey, doesn't it, or something? Some 50 Shades of Grey chess problems coming on today. Well, let's leave it at that. So how do you? All you have to do is think of the best way to get the bishop into a position where it can check. Now you can't check here because you lose your bishop if you try to do it straight away, and you can't check here because you lose your bishop. So what is the best way of doing it? And let's have a look at some of the answers. Remember, don't just give me one move. This is 4 moves deep to have the right solution. So have a think about it. I mean, moving the rook, like rook b8, just doesn't help you. Every move, I don't see the point of rook b8. Someone's suggesting rook b8. Trying to go bishop here, I suppose. Okay, I see the point now. Excuse me, but maybe that's a draw. Even when I take that, it might be a draw. So I think I can draw here. This is an interesting idea, actually. Sorry, I didn't see the point originally. But this with the idea of bishop here. But maybe it's... Well, I can check you. I can check you. Actually, this is just a dead draw now. And you can actually lose this as white. You have to swap rooks off when it's a draw. Because if you go here, now it is white who's actually losing. So you don't want to do that. That's for sure. Okay, so think again. Right, and what do we have? So we have National Patzer is saying bishop f6,
we like
rook
that
d3.
Great
bishop
idea, making
E5,
weekly regular
rook C3,
videos.
bishop D6.
Hope you can
Let's have a look
manage
at National
that.
Patzer. Thank you, Amir Gunnar, for the donation. And yeah, if you haven't seen my YouTube channel, I'm trying to do regular videos when I'm not away working in chess. So I'm trying to do every day of the week. Thank you for donation. Very, very kind. Thank you. So on a Monday, I'm doing long play videos. And so basically every day there'll be a different type of video coming out on my YouTube channel. I'm trying to build it up a bit. So let's have a look at Amir's idea first. Sorry, not Amir's. This is National Patzer. And National Patzer is saying bishop to f6. And what National Patzer is trying to do is trying to get the bishop to here. So let me just check. I have to now play rook to d3. I have to stop this check and this check. And this is a case of the bishop dominating the rook. So let's keep going. Where are you, National Patzer? Now he's suggesting bishop to e5. Trying to get the bishop to this square with check. And I'm now thinking, well, that'd be not just check, checkmate. Remember, the pawn is going up the board. So how do I stop the bishop from getting to this square? Is this another solution? Maybe this is another. It is. All these puzzles are a bit mind-bending today. They are mind-bending puzzles, but sometimes we gotta do a bit of mind-bending in chess to become better players. But it's just the theme. I want you to try to, just explore these themes. And chess is a very rich game. So is this just game over? Is this a quicker solution to what I found? Maybe it is, because if you play National Patzer, I don't know why you're calling yourself a Patzer there, sir. If we play our rook to defend c7 here, bishop to c3 is checkmate. What am I missing? Is there a better defense? If I play, let's have a look. If I play, I can't do anything. Okay, I'm going to go back. So this is a suggestion from National Patzer as a way to win. I think I've got a defense. Oh my words, there might be a brilliant defense here. I think, I found a brilliant defense. So very good idea, National Patzer, but I think I've found a defense now. And it is a brilliant defense. White has just played bishop here. Black can defend. What is the defense here? Can anyone see the defense? Because another thing we need to do is to consider our opponent's best defensive moves, because bishop f6 does look like it's winning. A very good idea from National Patzer, but I think it's clear. If we move our rook, we lose now, because our rook can't control this bishop. It just can't do it. Bishop c8 was one of the moves I was thinking of, and also bishop to f3. I was thinking of one of these moves, just attack that rook. I was thinking of bishop to f3. And this looks like a draw. If you move the rook anywhere, well, my king is totally safe now. We don't have to worry about that. And if we take here, the point is, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not a draw. It's actually a win. I got this wrong. Quite funny. I thought you could go bishop takes here, and after king takes, king b4, but I've just seen that white is still winning in this position. So how is white winning here? How is white winning in this position? Anyone see? How is white winning in this position? Bishop c3. So maybe it is winning. It's unbelievable, this solution. I haven't looked at all the possibilities, and that with bishop c3, this is a win. Okay, so we found another solution by the looks of it. Bishop c3 check. This stops the king getting anywhere near the pawn. Now all of these squares in front of the pawn are basically blocked. And after the king moves, this is of course winning for white, because white will probably bring the king back around and then start pushing the pawn, something like that. Okay. So we have another idea for a defense there. Is there another idea? Bishop here. What was the other idea for a fence? This is from Snabule. In that last one, this is so complicated. Even I'm getting confused. So here, bishop takes d4. And no, this must be winning. Okay, well, nice one. This is a very strange puzzle. Now, the solution I had was similar, and we can play along with it. But well done to National Patzer, who seems to have found another solution there, and that is, I think it's a good little solution, that one. But the way I saw the answer was trying to move the bishop to h4. So this was my solution. And of course, in chess, there may be more than one solution. And the idea is for that bishop to come to e1 with checkmate. So how does black defend that? Let's do it this way. So you can play along with me now. doing as we've done before. You've got to stop bishop there. There's only one way to do it. What is black's only defense? If you play rook to e4, well, the problem with that one, you defend e1, but the bishop can come the other way. So there's only one way you can go. And the reason I like this, look at what the bishop does. Look at this bishop. The rook goes to d8 because we're defending that square and that square. The reason you want to defend those two squares is because of the bishop. Clear. And now the bishop comes to g3 because our bishop's trying to come here. How does black defend against that one? Well, there's only one way to defend. He has to go bishop to rook to c1. So he defends that. And now, what do we play here? This is actually a lot harder solution to the one that National Patzer suggested. Bishop to f4. The bishop attacks the rook, but most importantly, it threatens to go to d2 with check. We're just trying to find the check. So where does the rook have to go? The only square for the rook is here because it needs to defend this check and that check. And now what is the winning move here? The winning move is bishop back to its starting square, g5. And I love that puzzle because that is where the bishop started. That's where the bishop started. That is kind of mind-bending. That's a mind-bending puzzle because now the bishop is either coming to d8 or to d2. And there's no way black can stop both of those moves. So I find that really beautiful, a really beautiful puzzle. And if we just go to the start position, the only difference between this and the start position is where the black rook is. This is the only difference. So it's really beautiful. I mean, the start position is here. This is the start position. And all we just do a little dance. Our bishop goes do, 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 like a revolving door. It goes round, around the bishop, round the bishop. This was the starting position. And this is all you do. You go bishop h4, like a door going around and round. Black guards this square. Now you go bishop g3. Black guards this square. Then you turn the door again. And then black guards this square. And then you go here, and black can't guard it anymore. So the bishop totally dominates the rook. Now, look, if your mind has gone a bit nuts after that one, well, I can understand why. That was a mind-bending singularity, is what Sang Ko said in the thing. And yeah, that was. I'm trying to find puzzles today that are amusing. Okay, I'm going to offer very shortly someone in the chat, so I'm probably going to go for someone in who's been answering the questions well. I think there's nothing wrong with the previous solution. I couldn't find anything wrong in the original position, but that one was just funny. So there's more than one solution to this problem, I think, unless I'm missing something. I haven't checked this with a computer. So the first person I'm going to, in a minute, I've got one more puzzle, then I'm going to play a long play game where I discuss my thought processes. Now, the first person I'm going to ask, thank you Stavros for the cheer, very kind. The first person I'm going to, a little dance, the bishop dance. I'm going to ask National Patzer if you'd like to play me in a long play game. But in order to play me, what you have to do, you have to be logged into chess.com. You have to make sure you're a member, logged in, and you have to make sure your settings are set. So change your settings so you will receive a match from me. And then we'll play a long play game. When we're playing, you have to mute me, so turn off the video so you can't hear my ideas. You want to learn something yourself from it, and we'll talk about the game then. So we'll do that a little bit later on. So, National Patzer, I'm just checking in the Twitch chat if you want to play, if you're still here. Otherwise, the second person list, I'm going to go... I am a bit biased to people who have subscribed to my channel, my Twitch channel. So if you do subscribe, if you've got Amazon Prime, you can subscribe for free. But it is cheap. It's a great way to support me and to help me do what I'm doing here and other stuff. But I'm going to go for Alexander Nip is my second choice. But National Patzer is telling me he wants to play. Can you tell me your handle on chess.com, please, National Patzer? And if you can tell me what your handle is, I will challenge you to a game after one more puzzle. Blazero. Hello, Blazer. I didn't see you there before. It's quite hard to keep up with the chat. I'm on for another hour and 20 minutes, Blazero. I'm glad you can join in to the chat today. So hello. Blaze Row was someone else who came to the GingerGM party. I'm hoping to make the crazy GingerGM party bigger this year. Okay. So I'm still waiting for National Patzer to tell me. Your handle is National Patzer. Okay, right, fair enough. Okay, right. So one more puzzle before I play a long play game. And again, we're following this weird theme that took me a lot of time to research. It's a mind-bending theme. Actually, you know what? Because we're looking at some trippy chess today, I won't put this on forever because it will really mess up our heads. I'm gonna get rid of the Coke. We don't want Coke there anymore, and I'm going to put in, I think, a more appropriate backdrop to basically to what we're doing, because it is trippy chess today, and we need a trippy. Don't we need a trippy backdrop? Now let me hope I've got the right one. Yes, I have. Okay, so bear with me. I'm going to get my super trippy backdrop into, and I think again. This is Side Chess Delia. You've got to thank for this. Oh no, it won't move. It won't work. This one? Will this work? Okay. This is really going to mess people's heads up. And just bear with me. We're going to get there. Okay. And this is... Oh no, that's too much. That's too much. Sorry, I'm playing around here. I'm playing around. I like playing around. I'm going to go... That's a bit too much, that one, at the moment. Maybe for another time, but not at the moment. We're going to have to go for this one. This is one of my favourite ones. This is actually not moving, but it does mess with your brain. Trust me, it really does. And can we get the right size? I'll bring it down there. And look at that. I love that picture. I love it. Can we get in? And now I'm floating on. Okay, we'll bring me there. There we go. Look at that. Lovely jubbly. So, okay, because it's a bit of a trippy little session today, we need an appropriate backdrop. We need some, I think they call it, LSD art behind us. That's what we need. We need it. It's not actually moving as well. It's actually a static picture. That's the thing that messes with my brain. Okay, now it is called a fractal image, and they are awesome. They're really cool pieces of art. Okay, so next puzzle, and again, this is another trippy one. I'll try to finish the show with two more. It's white to play and win. Now, white is going up the board, and whoever can solve this solution first, congratulations. Thank you, Foghorn, for subscribing. That's very kind of you. That's what I'm looking to build up. I'm looking to build up my subscribers here. That will give me the good thing about me. For the good thing about getting more subscribers, the more of you subscribers, it gives me more options to do things on Twitch. I can get more emotes, the faces that you can post up. It gives you more benefits, and at some point I will start a proper benefit sort of system for those. But it's a good way to for me to see you, and if you want to play me, it gives you a bigger chance of getting a game against me. I also hear Saucy Meatball that a very good stock picture place is Yay. Is it Yay Pictures? If you search Yay, very good stock picture place. That very good. Okay, so what is the winning idea for white? Thank you, National Patzer, for subscribing. That's very kind. Or Brave thank you very much for Brave. Bavarian for giving the subscription to National Patzer. That's very kind of you, Brave Bavarian, who has given the biggest cheer I've ever got, as you can see above in the Twitch chat. Very kind. Thank you very much. Cream Style. You're living up to your name there, Cream Style. Cream Style has just come up with the right move. That's on the Twitch chat. On the chess.com chat. JRC96, congratulations, JRC. Very well done. You've got the right solution. Oh, pardon me. The right solution as well. And again, if you are looking at the position here, then I don't know if that is the exhibit, by the way, Side Chess Delia. I'm not sure if it is or not. If it is, a big shout out to the main exhibit, but Now, the idea here, okay, again, you're looking at the position. This is what I suggest you do at home to improve your chess. Get a chess magazine. Look, I've got one here. Who's that? Someone's ugly mug on the front. Yeah. And no, it's the Hikaru. What I suggest you do, this is what I do. Get a chess magazine. Flip to a page like this. Look at a position. Look at that position there. And then just have a look at it and think to yourself, who is better? Look at the position and think, right, what are the important things about this position? I'm just looking at this one here, but you probably can't see it. And then try to work out who's better, whose move it is. And then take your hand away and compare it. And it's kind of a good way to jump into positions and get better. So that's what we're doing here. Now, the problem that black has here, as in the last game, the king on h4 is in a world of pain. So all we need to do is get our rook to check that king. Easier said than done. Now, someone suggested rook to a6 here. That's not a bad idea, but after the rook moves, you do win a pawn, but if I go rook h7, you're not going to checkmate me because my rook just goes backwards and forwards. You can't checkmate. The correct solution is this beautiful idea. Black is just too slow here. Rook to a1, and the idea is to go rook g1, rook g3, rook h3, checkmate. And that is a nice little checkmate, that one. That's a good little checkmate. And there's nothing that can be done. For example, black's rook is so out of the game, he has to move it, rook h8, and we continue our plan. Rook g1. Now, if black could go rook to b2 here, black would be better, actually. Black would be better. Probably winning. Black may even be winning there, very close to winning, but he can't. The rook is too far away. He tries to bring it back in the game, and now this beautiful move, rook to g3. And when we take there, it's going to be checkmate. And if black takes on g3, pawn takes g3 is checkmate. Okay, Zibit says it is him, so I'm sorry about that. I'm just catching up on the chat now. So Zibit, very good friend of mine from Iceland, who's got an awesome YouTube channel as well. I really want to do a stream with Zibit at some point as well. So hello to Ingvar from Iceland. Just catching up. By the way, if you want to subscribe to what I do, go to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/GingerGM. Twitch.tv. You can type that in now. You can subscribe. There's a subscribe button, and that will help me do more of these shows, which hopefully you do enjoy. And that is a sexy checkmate, isn't it? That's what we call a sexy checkmate. That's a groaner. Can we say that? Can we say it's a groaner? Like you know, you've probably seen when Harry's met Sally, or you've probably heard about it. Can you literally have a mini orgasm at the board when you play it? I mean, if I played this move, if I went rook g3, could I go, oh, could I do that, or would that be a little bit wrong? Okay, thank you. Someone else is subscribing. CWM Raig, thank you so much for subscribing. You can subscribe for free if you have a Twitch Prime. What is it? Amazon Prime. That's what I'm looking at. So can you do that? Can you do that? Can you go rook g3? Can you, if imagine you're in a tournament? I mean, you probably shouldn't do this if you're playing like a female or something, because it'd be really freaky. Imagine you're playing Fiona, and you go and you're about to win, and Fiona's sitting there, and you go, oh. No, don't do it. Don't even think about it. It's not the right thing to do. But I was just wondering, you can think it inside, but not on the outside. And if you're getting excited elsewhere, that's your own problem. Okay. Am I going to Reykjavik? Steely is asking in spring. I'm hoping so. Yeah. I normally do the commentary there. I think it's the 25th year or 50th year anniversary of the Reykjavik Open. Thank you, Liebers, for subscribing. And the Reykjavik Open is one of my favourite, that with Gibraltar, one of my favourite tournaments. If you get a chance, it's in March, I think, to play. If you want to play a tournament, it's only 3 hours from America, someplace in America, 3 hours from England. It's an amazing country with the friendliest and nicest people you ever meet, and the most spectacular playing venue you ever get a chance to do, and I'll be there. Fiona will be there, probably would be commentating. If not, I'll probably try to play, so I will be there. And if you do come over, do say hello to me, and I'll buy you. Well, I was going to say I'll buy you a beer, but the price of beer in Iceland is bloody expensive. So you can buy me a beer. No, I'll buy you a beer. Tell you what, if you subscribe, I'll buy you a beer. That's the way we'll do it. There we go. Okay, right. Let's now play some long play chess. So I hope we have what was it? Patzer chess, amateur Patzer, forgotten, national Patzer. National Patzer, I'm now get ready. I hope you're logged on to chess.com, National Patzer. I'm going to challenge you to a game very shortly. I'll give you a chance just to get things set up for yourself, and I'm going to give you a game. So make sure you're logged in, and we'll play. I actually quite like this backdrop. Can I keep it? Can I keep it, people? Can I make it my backdrop? I love it. I love it. Oh, thank you, Chess Coach Net, for subscribing as well. You've been very generous with your subscriptions today. It's very kind of you. Thank you. It means a lot. It really does. And it does desperately help me out to get my channel to the next level. Okay, so let's get this rocking and rolling. So I'm going to now set this game up. I'm going to play a longer time limit. The idea of this, it doesn't matter the rating of my opponent. People don't realise that. It's how a grandmaster thinks about chess. So you're basically getting the secrets of a grandmaster. You're jumping into my mind, and you're going to work out how I think when I play chess, what made me a grandmaster. So that's the idea. Now let's customs challenge. So I'm just going to get this sorted and select, just so you know that I am doing this. I'm going to just show that in the bar over there. So National Patzer, I hope you're ready. I hope you're ready, National Patzer, and I hope we have a good game, sir. I hope we have a good game. You're certainly not a Patzer. Can I say that? The way you've been solving these puzzles, I might find you're 2800. Okay, so let's give you a game. I'll just make sure I've got everything set up. Maybe I need to change my settings. 1 second while I do that, and then we are going to rock and roll. And as National Patzer has said, Charlie, I like that from Charlie the Ginger Cat. I jumped into your mind, Simon. I'm seeing really weird things. Yes, you shouldn't stay in my mind for too long, because it might mind flip you. That's what I'm going to say. Okay, right, so we're going to play a 15-minute game, and this should be quite beneficial to everyone, hopefully. You can play along, you can think how I think, and I see my opponent is a good player. He's got a good, decent rating, so this is not going to be a walk in the park. And good luck, sir, but not too much luck. A little bit of luck. I mean, I find at this longer time limit, there's rarely anyone over the rating, funnily enough, of 2,000. You just don't get many players over 2,000 unless they have cheated to get there. So the rating, this is a good rating for this time limit. Okay, now I've got two things. Let's have a vote here. Well, let's not have a vote. It's too late. Yeah, good luck, National Patzer. There's two systems I normally play. I either play the Dutch, or sometimes I play this weird little system called the English Defence. But I think today I'm going to play the Dutch. Aldo has said, and Charlie the Ginger Cat has said, it's got to be time for a Dutch action. So we'll do the Dutch. Let's go for the Dutch Defence. And my opponent is now fianchettoing his bishop, and that stops me from playing b6, so I'm going to develop normally. Knight to f6. This is probably the opening I'm most famous for, is this opening, f5 and knight to f6, the Dutch. I played this all my life. My dad taught me how to play it. I normally try to play e5 here, going back to the game, but I don't like it when white is able to go d4 too quickly. I don't like that as a possibility. So I'm going to go d6 first, leaving me open to playing this. And now my opponent has stopped me. Well, I could play e5, but then he will capture on e5 and exchange queens. The main idea in the Dutch that I play, this variation, is to play the move e5 at some moment. I hope you've muted your stream as well. My opponent's National Patzer, which I'm sure he has, seems like a very nice chap. Now there's two moves here. The main move I play is e6, The other line I sometimes play is G6, but we go for my main suggestion here, and that's E6. Yeah, my dad taught me this when I was 6. He never became a master or anything like that, but he got a grade of about 200 ECF, and that relates to about I would say in ELO 2200, maybe something like that. So he was clearly a very good player. And now we have the mainline classical Dutch, and this is really a speciality of mine. I had this position against a number of great players. I've beaten the Polish player Wojciech with this, Boris Gelfand I managed to beat with this, but the idea of this is at some point I want to play either E5, advance there. Other ideas, I swing my queen over to this square, but the idea I'm most attracted to now is knight to E4. The point of playing knight to E4 is I'm slightly more cramped than my opponent because my pieces here are a bit cramped, aren't they? When you're more cramped, you should aim to exchange pieces. This is a basic rule of chess. When you're cramped, aim to exchange pieces off the board. And this move, knight to E4, aims to exchange pieces, so that's one thing it does. And another thing, whoa, don't go there. Another thing it does is give my bishop on E7 a very good square. The bishop on E7 wants to come to F6. Now, why would my bishop be on a good square on F6? It's on a good square on F6 because it supports me playing, like I said, my main pawn break E5. Why do I want to play E5? Because I want to get two pawns next to each other so they can support each other going forwards. I also then can play E4 or F4 and do that. So my opponent has decided to play what is now the main line here, and that is knight takes knight. I hope he's not looking at my book while he's playing, but currently this is one of the main lines. Now, knight to E1, he threatens my pawn on E4. Now, I haven't looked at this line for a long time, so I can't remember the theory, but you nearly always play D5 in this position. And the point of this move is, well, I need to support this pawn, and I need to start attacking my opponent's center. So other ideas I'm thinking of here, something like C5 becomes a very big possibility. I want to maybe play C5, then put my knight behind the pawn. Get my knight behind that pawn. What am I going to do with my bishop? Because you need to activate all your bishops. Well, I might try to bring my bishop. I can either try to do it like a French defense and bring my bishop out to one of these two squares. You see that route there? So that's one way I might better get my bishop around. The other way is to go B6 and fianchetto it. I might be able to put it on B7 when it supports my pawns. And I've had some games where I've actually even put it on A6 where it attacks this, and it can be very useful on this diagonal, attacking everything along there. Now, my opponent playing the best moves, and this is the theory at the moment. Again, this is good. Now, I don't agree with Destructone, who says the Dutch is just bad for black. I mean, I've played it all my life with great results, and it's got me, it's got me my best results ever. It got me to Grandmaster level, and no one's refuted it yet. Now, back to the game. My opponent, this is a very good idea, positional idea for my opponent, because he wants to get rid of my main advanced pawn, which is a nuisance for him. And if I lose this pawn, I'll be a bit cramped. So what I want to do now, I don't really want to take on F3, because if I do that, I'm not really fighting for the initiative at all. I'm not really fighting for the initiative. What I want to do is take on C4 with a specific idea in mind. And my specific idea, we'll see what my opponent plays, but I want to kind of take advantage of his queen on D1. At the moment, his queen on D1 is not defended by his rook, so I've got some ideas that I might want to play. But he probably is advised here to take on E4, because I have kind of just grabbed the pawn, haven't I? I've kind of grabbed myself a little pawn there for free. And let's see. I'm just looking at Tom Harper's comment. I guess you're referring to me saying, I used to be a right little ragamuffin before I became a proper British gentleman. I'm not entirely sure how to take that comment. I guess I'll take it well, Tom. Yeah, well, maybe I don't. Ragamuffin. I love the word ragamuffin. It's a great word, isn't it? Ragamuffin. It really is a beautiful word, you know. Anyway, okay, so back to the game. I hope my opponent hasn't just turned on his chess base and he's searching the position. Okay, anyway, so my opponent has taken here, and now I'm going to put a very thematic plan into play. And because I know the Dutch so well, I kind of know these plans like the back of my hand. First of all, I'm going to take his rook, because that's going to misplace either his bishop or his king, I believe here. Maybe I didn't need to take that actually, because his bishop, I'm just thinking, is his bishop going to be better there where it can maybe take this pawn? Let's see, shall we? But my next idea, to try and play as actively as possible and take advantage of my opponent's like slight weaknesses, is to play e5. This is my main break, because that pawn is really crappy at the moment. I want to play here when my opponent can't take because of his queen. I also want to play e5 so I can try to win the pawn on d4. And I also want to play e5 because then my bishop has yet another route into the game. It can come out here or maybe to h3 later on. So often you will find in the Dutch that these two pieces won't come out until later on in the game. You actually leave them there for a long time. Yeah, I'm sorry for throwing in. I didn't mean to throw in a cheating accusation. I was only messing about. I'm sure my opponent is certainly not cheating at all. He did very well in those puzzles. He's got a very high rating. He's just a very good player. So this is going to be basically a very tough game, I'd say. So, okay, so I've taken on f1, and we're following a line that I actually give in one of my DVDs, The Killer Dutch, available from any good DVD store. Also, I've done a book about this, which I've probably got next to me somewhere as well. So my opponent has taken with a king. Now, his king is slightly misplaced now, but I need to play as actively as I can, and the main idea of this opening, the way this has turned out, is this move e5. Why is this a good move? Because I'm trying to keep as much pressure on my opponent as possible. I'm not playing some move that a lot of people might play there would be something like knight c6. Sometimes the obvious moves, they're not so good. You've got to have real purpose to each move you play. Try to really have an idea behind every single move you play. Even if it's not an immediate idea, make sure you can tell yourself, as I'm telling you, what your idea is. Really, when you're playing chess, when you go over your game, you should be able to explain it like I'm explaining it, because you should be able to have a good reason for everything that's going on. You should certainly just have a good reason. For every move you're playing, you need to have a good reason. For every idea your opponent's playing, you should be also thinking about what he's playing and trying to stop him from doing his plan. Chess, as I've said many times before, is restrain and push. Restrain and push. Restrain your opponent, push your own ideas. Restrain and push. That's what chess is about. Okay, right. So now my opponent has consolidated his square here. If he went pawn on, I'd have a very good diagonal for my bishop, cutting his king off there. So in this position, I'm now thinking I want to get my queenside pieces into the game. That's one thought. The other thing I want to do is maybe use my majority of pawns. Look where you have a majority of pawns. I have 4 pawns on the queen side. My opponent only has 2. So I want to maybe mobilize my majority and start pushing them up the board. Maybe try to create a passed pawn later on. But knight c6 looks like the most obvious move to me. But then he will probably play d5. Thank you, Chess Nerdbird, for subscribing. Very kind. That's what I'm looking for today. So thank you so much. Please do subscribe if you want to support me and get the benefits of my channel and help me do more of these streams. So I'm thinking now, knight c6, increasing pressure, d5. What do I play there? Does my knight have to move? Not straight away, but does my knight have a good square to move to then? If it goes to b4, it's not going anywhere over here because his knight controls my way in. So I don't like it on b4. If it goes to a5, maybe that's better. Maybe a5, but I'm not convinced. So I'm thinking knight here, d5. Maybe this just helps him. What about my bishop? Has my bishop? Well, it hasn't got anywhere over here to go to at the moment in this particular position. I could go bishop e6, d5, queen d7. Very interesting, because I'm using the pin on the pawn, and then I can try to put my bishop over to one of these two squares. That's interesting. But I'm also now liking more and more b5. b5 with the idea of maybe getting my bishop to a6, lining up like that. And b5 seems to be a very useful thing to play. I'm not worried about my opponent playing d5 now, because then my knight has a better route. My knight can get to c5. c5 seems like a good square. But, I mean, this is a hard move. This is a hard decision. I don't know what the right move is here. But I don't think I can go wrong with b5. So I'm going to play b5 in this position. Maybe bishop c5 was possible there as well. Actually, I've just seen that... I don't want to look at the chat when I'm playing because, you know, that would be kind of cheating on my part. But... So, yeah, I mean, you know, bishop c5 might have been an idea, but b5 probably only helps me. It probably only helps me. And, you know, because I want to get my pawns going. It gives my bishop other options of coming over to one of these two squares. My opponent's played very well, very solidly so far. And... let's see if he continues to play good chess. This is a very tough game. If I was my opponent, so as well as thinking my own plans, I want to think what my opponent's going to try. Now, I'm always looking, can he play b3 or a4? Trying to hit my pawns like that on the queen side. Maybe he can. Maybe he can play one of these moves. But if he goes b3, I can even go c3. So I'm going to meet b3 with c3. If he goes a4, I'm going to meet a4 with b4. So any pawn he pushes, I'm going to go past it. So I'm one square nearer queening. What is my next plan? Well, maybe now I'm going to play knight to c6. So he's gone b3. Okay. So I was thinking I could go c3 here. But let's double check this. c3. Well, then his knight, sorry, comes to this square. Okay. Not so clear. Do I want that knight coming there? Okay, so c3, knight here. b4, knight takes here. I don't want to... Oh, no. If I go here, you can't go knight there because I take this pawn. Okay, that's all right. So c3, if knight there, I take on d4. So c3, you can't go b4 because I take it. c3 looks like an annoying move for him. I'm going to play c3. Even if I lose that pawn at some point... Ah, he can play this move. Very crafty because he's got the check here. So a little miscalculation there. Which, you know, but I'm still not worried because even if I lose this pawn, I'm thinking he's going to take a lot of time to take it and I might be able to get some good counterplay going. So here, I've got this annoying pawn. Now, what do? The first moves that are coming to my mind are a5, because then I want to get a pawn to b4. That's a very natural move. And knight to c6. So these are my first thoughts here. So let's have a look. Knight c6 develops piece. So let's look at that first. Knight c6. And if he goes check, king h8, he takes here with the queen. Could take there with a knight, but I don't really want to. What about a5? a5 check, queen, king here, queen takes here. Then I can take there and I attack the queen, gaining tempo. I'm liking a5. Let's just check. a5 check, king to h8, queen d5 then. Will he try to exchange queens? It's a bit annoying, but I can go check, c6, queen takes here and take here again. We get a very weird position, but I like it. I want to keep this pawn, I think. I want to keep this pawn. But maybe I'm neglecting my development. So knight c6. I'm just got to go a bit of instinct here. Knight c6, check, king here, queen takes c3. Let's try to develop those pieces of mine. And then if I take here, he takes here. I've got to calculate. Calculation is key in chess, of course. Very weird position. Okay, I'm going to go for a5. a5 looks right, yeah? I couldn't get knight c6 to work. c5 was interesting there. Maybe c5 was a possibility as well. a5, I'm just trying to use, as I said before, my queenside pawns. But I don't know. I mean, another great thing that my c3 pawn does, if you look at my opponent's bishops, at the moment, these bishops are not playing. They're not playing in the game. My pawn here actually kills that bishop. It means it can't play. And whilst I'm trying to do my own plans, as I said, chess is restrain your opponent, push your own ideas. I'm trying to restrain his ideas. So I'm restraining that bishop, and this bishop is also restrained. So his pieces are not very good. Even though I haven't got very good development, I've got these guys still on their sleeping squares. Later on, I'm thinking they might have good potential. This bishop flying out here, this knight coming in, maybe a queen coming to the f-file. My pieces have great potential here. Now, I'm just seeing... Steele is saying, did queen here win a pawn? Maybe it won a pawn, but I didn't like. Thank you for subscribing, Nightwish000. You know what, Steele? I was thinking queen to f8 check and bishop takes here, but for some reason I didn't like it, because I was thinking if my bishop... Okay, first of all, I win a pawn, yes, but he puts his king somewhere safe. And when my bishop gets here, my pieces look really funnily placed. And I think he might be able to start attacking them, like knight b4, gain a tempo, attacking that bishop. And I don't want to let his pieces come out. I'd rather actually have a pawn on b4, because then I've got a chain. I've got a chain of pawns there. A chain which is locking down on the queen side. The pawns will be very hard for my opponent to pass. Like I said, if you do want to support me, as I've mentioned throughout this show, subscribing is a great way to help me grow this channel, do more things, be able to afford to do more things that will hopefully help you at home improve your chess. And if you've seen any of my streams, you know that it's a real mix what I do. I mean, sometimes I do these kind of serious streams, which I'm doing now, and then other times Fiona gets on board and we just talk nonsense and we don't even look at any chess. I think Blazer Row, I did see, was mentioned earlier, that Fiona, it was Fiona's birthday stream yesterday, and Fiona did actually do a broadcast for the duration of 8 hours, which is some serious stream, that is. And she had a bottle of Jack Daniels in front of her when I last looked. So I don't know how she's feeling today. She's got to get an 8-hour bus today. Oh my god. Okay, so he has checked. I've got to move my king. I think he has to get rid of this pawn. This pawn is too strong, but he hasn't. He's moved his knight out. Now he's aiming to come in with his knight to this square. And that looks a bit scary, but I do have queen check here. Does that help me? This is a scary move. I missed this one. So let's say I take on d4. Let's say I take on d4. Knight to e5. And then queen f8 check, king to f8. This is where I really need more time to calculate. It looks a bit scary for me. So what else can I do? Well, if I go knight, I can go knight to this square. Knight to c6. Might be time to start developing my pieces. Knight c6 first, and if queen takes here, then I play... What do I play then? Knight c6, queen takes here. He's hitting my knight. Knight takes b4, knight takes e5. Thank you for subscribing. So, well, if I take knight here, let's have a look at this one more time. Take knight here. Do I not have a good way out there? Check king to g1. I need to find a good move in that position. I mean, I could go h6, but then he just takes back, and my position looks a little bit funny. Maybe here I should be, you know, this is pieces are jumping out now. This is a weird position, but his pieces are coming to life a little bit. What about rook a6? Knight takes here. Rook check. King to g1. How's that? I don't really want to lose this hold on this square. I'm kind of now leaning to defending this one. So knight here, he takes here. And then, do I have a good move though? If I don't have a good move, I can't really play that. There, he takes on c3. But then he's not on the thing. I can go knight takes here, check. Not convinced by that either. Maybe this is not so easy for me now. He's playing very well. So I really need to think about my possibilities here. Take on d4, knight e5. This is something I really want to play, but I can't make it work. And then queen f8, check, king here. What do I do then? I can't see an answer. Might be some draw, but of course with a4 there, might be a draw. Knight check, king g8, draw, but knight h6 check, king here. But I mean, that's a draw. We can't play for a draw in this position. So what else do I do? Bishop d6. Is bishop d6 a better move here? That looks all wrong, bishop d6. But then I got queen f6. I can get my pieces out like that. So bishop here takes queen. I mean, I don't know. This is a sort of tough position. A very hard position to calculate. Knight takes here is the issue, and then coming here. This is something that I'm worried about. This knight traveling into f6. So I want to stop that. But if I go knight c6, he goes queen takes c3. And after queen takes c3, I need to find a good move there because he's hitting my knight. Knight takes here, knight takes there. I don't want to do that. So here. Maybe I can play something like queen d6 and keep the position. But then he's got bishop b2. And I need to get my pieces in the game. So this is this very interesting position, but I can't find a right move here, which is frustrating. Very good move from my opponent. So take here, knight e5. I need to find something in that position there. This is a key moment, and in key moments in games, you need to spend more time. Knight here, check. King here. How do I control this square? Can't see it. I might have to go with knight c6 here. I mean, knight d7, I don't like naturally because it traps my bishop in. I just don't feel that move, but it just doesn't feel right. And I normally, I try to always go with my instinct somewhat. But knight d7, queen takes here. Pawn takes here. Can I get my knight in the game? Takes. I'm going to go for knight c6. I still haven't found a complete solution to what was happening. I don't know. Let's have a look at what I'm saying on.
Great to see you doing regular
Blazer
streams.
Thank you
Simon,
so much.
Always a pleasure to watch.
For the donation. That's very kind. You may have donated to see me lose here, which I hope not. My opponent playing very well. We'll have to analyse this game afterwards. So I'm very intrigued by this. It is a lot harder when you're streaming. That's my excuse always. But who knows? Who knows how this goes? It's just a very weird position. But thank you so much for the donation. I'm going to try to keep streaming more regularly when I can. And of course, if people want to help me do that, you like what you see, then you can. The best way to support is just pay $5 to subscribe to my Twitch channel, twitch.tv GingerGM, or if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can just do that for free. Okay, so let's have a look. So queen takes here. I need to find a good solution to this thing. Pawn takes pawn. Queen takes here. Do I have some weird rook a6 move? Rook a6 attacking his queen. I don't believe that one. So queen takes here. I was thinking against queen takes here, I might just play queen d6. That was my sort of plan, because then I'm slowly getting my pieces off the back rank, and I'm trying to keep the tension a little bit with that move. It's really unclear position. So yeah, he's played the best move. So if I take on this square with my knight, he takes on this square, and even then, I don't know. I've got bishop e6. It might be okay for me, but I don't fully trust that position. So I'm going to go for queen to this square, which is a bit of a weird move, but this is what I was thinking during that last thing. I need to find a good move here. Am I a pawn down? Yeah, I'm a pawn down, but there's a lot of tension with the pawns. This is not a simple position to analyze. It's a very complex position, this one. I'm hoping he will give himself what's called tripled Irish pawns. They're called Irish pawns because an Irish player is the first person to get them. And if he does win another pawn, let's say he takes there, I'm hoping I will have good compensation because the free pawns might be a hindrance rather than anything else. My plan I'm trying to do as well, I want to get my last piece in and then get my rook here checked. This is my other, I'm thinking about all my pieces. I want to get the 2 sleeping pieces in the game, and then I might be able to get my queen over to f6 and maybe in like this. So that's another reason I put my queen here. My queen can come across over here. Maybe even to h6 in some lines is a good square where I can attack e3 and prepare bishop to h3. So I'm thinking of all these things. But what am I worried about? Well, I'm kind of worried about something like d5 now. d5 now might be a good move, might it not? d5, knight takes e5 in that position. And then if knight takes e5 there, I have this same problem again, the knight coming in. But this is very complex then because I have queen f6 check and bishop to d6, and his knight could actually be in trouble. This is a very, very complex position. I like Charlie the Ginger Cat's statement there. The little guys, they just get in the way. And if you've watched some of my previous streams, you will know exactly what he's talking about. But the good thing about the Dutch is, I mean, you know, if I lose this, it's down to my own stupidity rather than the opening. I think the opening, as we'll see on the computer later, has done fine. But the Dutch does give you some really unique, interesting positions which aren't very well analysed. That's why I like it. You get exciting chess. You know, look at this position. It's a weird position. But my opponent's idea of coming out with a knight, very, very interesting idea. He's playing great chess, so I'm giving him a lot of credit as credit is due. Okay, so let's have a look at d5 again. This must be critical. d5, and then I'm probably forced to play knight takes b4. And then he will go knight takes e5. I maybe have something beautiful like bishop e6 there. Pawn takes queen here check. Is that just mental? Well, it's a bit mental. Okay, let's have a look. So d5, knight takes here, forced. Knight takes e5. Queen to f6 check. This is the most forcing line. King g1. Bishop to d6. Bishop to b2. And he might be holding his position together, annoyingly, in that situation. I have some weird knight c2 move there. Queen takes, bishop takes e5. Kind of feel I should be all right, but it's such a very, very complex position, this one. I'm not going to worry about... I'm not going to think too hard, to be honest, because my moves are going to be pretty much forced and he's the one who has to think. The good thing about defending is you don't have to think as hard. But let's have a look at that again. So d5, seems to be the critical line. So d5, knight takes e5. And in that position, queen f6 check, king g1. Now I've got to, okay, he's taken with a pawn. Now, I'm kind of happy with that. I know he's 2 pawns up. But look at this ridiculous position we've now got. I mean, it really is a ridiculous position. So, is he going to sacrifice that one? Well, then I take it. So, where should my queen go? Let's just think logically. Well, I don't want to go here because it gets in the way of my bishop. And I always like my pieces having maximum fluidness. So, I mean, I don't need to think that much. As I said before, my queen can come across. And what is the best square? It doesn't do much on g6. But when I go to this square, I create maybe an immediate threat of taking that pawn. Well, that is something that is lurking. And I'm also, if he goes bishop b2, coming into this square, and my bishop can now join in on h3. I'm much happier now. I feel that I'm much happier now. Even though I'm 2 pawns down, I'm much happier. Look at this. I've never had a position like this, I don't think. I mean, 3 triple pawns on the e-file. It's a really weird position to have, clearly, very strange position, but a lot of fun. So, okay, So what are my next plans? Well, my next plan now, my play now, I think becomes a lot easier. I'm going to go bishop to this square and rook to this square, get my piece in. So my opponent is trying to hold on to his material advantage. Now, I don't want to swap. I'm going to have to go a bit quicker now. I don't want to swap here and swap rooks because I want my rook to join in over here. But do I want to swap off the defender of his king with bishop to h3, or do I want to keep that there on that square? Do I even want to just play... No, I can't go bishop e6 because he takes my knight. So where do I want my bishop to go? This is key. Well, bishop h3. Am I going to generate? Bishop here, I need to generate an attack. Not so easy to do so. And if I do, let's go back to pawn takes pawn quickly. Pawn takes pawn just helps him. Bishop h3. Takes, queen takes check, king here. Okay, I'm gonna swap off his bishop. I kind of feel that my bishop's quite good, but the only piece that is around his king is his bishop on g2. So I'm gonna aim to swap off that piece, and of course now my rook becomes a lot more active in this square. I didn't take on h3 because the queen takes my knight on c6. That's a square which is a bit worrying, isn't it? I forgot his knight has that lovely square. Oh dear, that's annoying. I forgot about that possibility. Well, I have to take here now. Not playing so well today. Now I can take here, but I don't want to do that. His knight, totally forgot his knight just completely. This is just a blunder on my part. His knight just blockades. It blockades everything. And if I go g5, I might have to play g5 and gamble. Knight here. And then can I get rook here in with any attack? Doubtful. But I need to. I'm going to play quicker. I need to get rid of that knight. That knight is too strong to stay on that square. Now he's gone check, and he may be grabbing this one at the moment, but I was hoping he'd have a lot of things on pre, so I need to move my rook. This may have just gone completely wrong for me, and well, all credit to my opponent. My opponent's played a very good game, because I've just realised I thought I could move my rook, but he's got e7 in this position. So, oh dear, well, we'll have to put this one on the computer. My opponent has played a very good game, and he's got the better of me in this one. I haven't lost many of these, but this is one where I don't think I'm going to get out of if he finds the move e7. Where do I put my rook now? Does it make any difference? Is there any way I can get any tricks going? I forgot he had e7, which is game over, I feel. So, well, I have to move my rook, don't I? Can I keep going with queen f8? Queen f8 is a pathetic move to play. It's a move that I don't want to play. You can go e7, bishop takes. No, I have to move my rook and just gamble here. But, okay, well played from my opponent. And we'll put it on the computer afterwards, and we'll compare the moves with what the computer says for both sides. But I was certainly doing well at one stage, but the thing is in chess, isn't it? As soon as you make one or two slightly bad moves, the position just completely collapses, and that's what I've done in this game. Unfortunately, I've made a couple of dubious moves. I forgot about his knight coming to this square, which was maybe one of my biggest mistakes. But we'll whack this on the computer. One thing in order to improve, I mean, it's much harder when you're streaming. I get my excuses in because I'm sort of looking at chat, talking to you guys, not fully calculating. But one thing everyone should do is to look at their losses, work out where they've gone wrong, and try to improve for the future. And that is something which I need to do with this game. But of course, my opponent doesn't even need to play e7 because he's just got pawn takes pawn here, and my position is in a mess, isn't it? It's in a complete mess here. Well, I have to take the knight. No choice there. And we'll have a look at where I went wrong. So any chances here? He's going to go e5. I need to get my queen in. Can't see how that's going to happen either. Queen here. Well, his rook has actually done a great job of stopping that one. Any other ideas? Bishop d4. Does that help? I don't see how that would help. at all. Bishop d4, queen d5. I might as well keep playing until the end. You know, it makes sense. Don't want to... Okay, what about... Do I have to play something like queen here? Then his pawns are just going to come up. How about we give one last ditch attempt to harry the h-pawn? We're going to have to give... I mean, my position is losing here, but I'm going to give myself one last roll of the dice by pushing Harry the h-pawn up the board. This is my last chance. I'm just going to shove him up here. In desperate situations, you need to try and create as much counterplay as you can. How many pawns am I down now? A lot. My opponent trying to swap off queens. I can't allow that, so I'm going to play quicker now because we've got to play, you know, on the time a little bit. I'm threatening to take this one. If f5, I'm going to come here, threatening to take that one. So I'm going to keep fighting, and maybe I have a chance to get my rook in the game. I'm quite an optimist, as you can tell. But his pawns are of course, too strong here. Very, very interested to see where I went wrong, where my position went downhill. But let's not give up. He's got 25 seconds left. 22 seconds, but he's obviously playing a great game. Okay, so here, well, let's play quickly, and I'm going to attack that piece. No point messing about here. And we're going to attack that one. And maybe... Come on, Harry. Come on, Harry. Can you... Okay, well, let's... If I push... Shall I push Harry? Shall we just lob Harry up the board? Then he's going to go queen f3. And I don't want to swap queens. I think I'm going to have to eliminate this little guy here. I have to get rid of that dangerous pawn. Okay. The time limit we're playing, each move, you get 10 seconds a move. So that's a greedy move, grabbing that one. That's not something I would have considered, but okay. So let's have a look. So how can I get the boys in the game? h5, he just takes it. Any chance here at all? Maybe my rook is not doing anything against g3. Let's try and get him in somewhere. A desperate last-ditch attempt. And I'm going to, like I say, play much quicker now. My position is pretty bad. And the triple pawns got me. The Irish pawns took me down today. My rook is going to try to dive in. Okay, he's trying to get to an ending. Of course, if I get to an ending, I think my opponent's position will improve drastically, so I need to keep the queens on. This must be the most aggressive square because I at least attack his bishop. I've got to be careful though because his queen is quite near my king now. Something like bishop to b2, bishop takes bishop, rook takes bishop, and if I go rook d1, he's played the best move again. If I play rook d1, queen there is actually checkmate. Queen c3, queen e5. He gets the queens off. So I'm getting desperate. I'm going to plonk my queen. Oh no, then he goes queen f6 check. Ah! Very nasty position. Maybe I have to play... Oh, that doesn't look right, does it? Maybe I have to play this move. I can't see anything else. I don't want to take my rook off the open file, but my king is too weak. This is the kind of position where the extra pawn around my king really shows. And my opponent still trying to get the queens off the board. Who can blame him? The best way to try to simplify positions. So is it now time for queen to come in? Let's do it. Again, at least when you're losing, you don't have to worry too much. Because you're losing anyway. It doesn't matter. We like so you just got to try to make as much danger as possible. Thank you for the donation, Zenda Diesel. That's very kind of you. Thank you for the donation. Of course, all donations help. And I am planning to do many more regular streams where I take on you guys, give you some puzzles, give you some lessons, general madness. And these donations and subscriptions is what I'm looking for. Please do subscribe to my channel. You can do that now. If I get a certain amount of subscriptions, I'm going to keep... Oh, shit, it's my move. I didn't even realise it's my move. Okay, well, I'm going to obviously be happy to take the draw, but my opponent probably just gaining time here at this moment in time. I mean, of course, he shouldn't take the draw. He'd be mad to take the draw. But quite crafty, he's gained time there. Yeah, quite fun. I didn't even know it was my move. I'm also, at the moment, I'm doing this stupid juice start. I'm only drinking juices for 3 days. I'm blaming it on the juices. I blame it on the boogie. But I'm very... Okay, so let's see. Okay, he's now trying to swap the queens off. Now, can I swap and go for an ending? I'm 2 horrible pawns down there. I can't do that. I need to keep the queens on. That way, he will go check. He will swap the queens off. Can I keep the queens on? If I can't, I might as well resign. Queen A1 is my only way, but then my queen is so far offside. I don't like it there, but I have to play this because, again, my only chance in this game is to keep the queens on the board. There's no other possibility to survive here. Yeah, this is the kind of crap I'm drinking. This stuff. No, it's my move again. Okay, well, let's go to B1, shall we? Make sure I'm not blundering. Okay, yeah, I'm drinking 5 of these a day, and yeah, it's it's a little health start. Okay, so he's coming with check. I might as well just keep going backwards and forwards. He's defending everything. He's defending his second rank, so his king is safe. He's defending this pawn, and now he's just trying to exchange. And yeah, I'm seriously considering resignation now, but we will play on a little bit more. It should be quite easy. I think I'll resign quite shortly, and we will analyse, have a little look at the game, see where I went wrong. But very well played to my opponent. We should all give him a round of applause, really, for the way he's played this game. I'm not going to drag it out because, you know, this could go on for another 10 minutes if we do play until the end. At the moment, he is 3 pawns up, so it's pretty good. And we'll have a look at the computer and compare things then. Okay, so well, I think I'm going to resign. I mean, my position's lost, and I don't want to waste too much time because we've only got 20 minutes of the stream left, and I'm more interested to have a look at the game, actually. So well done. Round of applause to my opponent who managed to beat me at this longer time limit. So that rarely happens when I play, have to say. And we'll now have a look at it with the help of the Beast. So we will do this. And congratulations to my opponent. So well done. That's very good. Thank you for subscribing, Graven Darkin. Just beating a Grandmaster, so that's good stuff. You did well there. And let me just work out how we get this self-analysis. Okay, I'm just going to get up the analysis so you can all see it as well. Otherwise, it'd be a little bit boring. So I think the opening went perfectly okay. But when things got a little bit critical, that's where I did not find the right way. And it really came down to a bit of calculation there. Calculation was letting me down. I didn't see far enough ahead. So congratulations to my opponent anyway. And he really did play a very good game. So I'm not going to go for the opening moves too much because I know around this point, and this is on move 12, that king takes f1 should be absolutely fine for me. Okay, the computer may say it's slightly better for my opponent, but I mean, I think I'm at least equal in this type of position. Oh, you're not seeing the board. Let me just change that. Sorry, my mistake. So I'm just going to rearrange things so you can see the board. And let's do that. So we'll get a quick clip of it there. And we will get the board so you can all see it. And let's move that so you can see that as well. Where should we put that? You can see that just about. Okay, good. Right, so let's have a look. So around here, I think things are okay. E5 I know is the theoretical move. And now E3. And should I go B5? Well, it's funny. I actually mentioned sort of Bishop E6 as a possibility, but I think B5 is okay. I'm not gonna be too critical until later on. Let's just move this a little bit, the box a little bit. We'll move it there. That'll do for now. You know, so you can also see the computer's analysis. Now, if you don't know what the computer means, basically the computer, what the computer analysis means. If it's plus, it means white is better with the move it suggests. So plus 2.22 is basically saying white is 0.2 of a pawn better. But let's have a look. So okay, so he went B3, and now I played the right move, C3, and he played B4. And maybe here this is where I start to go wrong. Well, A5 is now the top move. Oh, Bishop E6. Well, that actually makes a lot more sense, doesn't it? Let's just stop his queen getting to this square. But now it does actually, now it changes its mind. It prefers my move. So actually, okay, we'll go for my move. So let's have a look. So a5, queen b3, check, knight d3. And around here is where I think I clearly start to play some bad moves. Knight to c6, maybe not right. So it is suggesting that I actually just go queen to f8 check and just take on b4 with my pawn, which was kind of one of my original ideas. But after knight takes e5, I couldn't see much more than a draw. Well, maybe I just give my king an escape square. Maybe I don't have to worry about this knight coming here, because at least this way, rather than losing all my pawns, I've got a armada of pawns over on the queen side here. So this might be a better way of doing it. And something like g6 now, so that after the check, my king can just come here. This is a much more sensible way to play. You those of you who are watching at the time, you could see that I was in a bit of a decision here about what to play, and I clearly did not pick the right move here. And this is where I need to have a bit of a clearer head and clearer thinking, because knight c6 is where things start to go wrong. Queen takes c3, queen d6. The reason they go wrong is because I just forgot about this knight to f4 move. This was a big oversight. D takes e5, and you know, I even thought I might be okay here, but let's have a look here. A3, and now again, this is probably a key moment where I need to find a better move than what I did, and the computer is suggesting just to simply take here and get one pawn back, which might not be so bad. But the way I played it with bishop to h3, really just overlooking, knight to f4 is just a great square for that knight. Just an oversight that I forgot the knight can come to this square. So really, it wasn't such a bad game. And now I think my opponent played pretty perfectly. Let's have a look. G5, e6, and you can see now my position is pretty hopeless around here. At this situation, and my opponent played pretty good chess. But all in all, the only mistake I made, and this shows you how brutal chess can be, is, and there's a good lesson to be learnt here as well, and this is what I'm saying, you need to learn from your own mistakes. Everything was okay, except everything I played was alright, except up to this key position here. And it shows you, I mean, one thing I will say to people is critical moments in chess are so important, and you need to manage your time very well. Now, if I was playing a long play game, or if I wasn't maybe streaming and talking at the same time, I would have moved quite quickly up to this point, because I think all my moves up to this point are pretty natural and pretty straightforward. But now, as you could tell when I was commentating, this was certainly a key moment. And I really needed to spend, if I was in a real game, even half an hour here to work out the best way. Because this is a position where it's kind of hit or miss. My opponent has a very defined plan. He wants to come here. If I can find a good way to meet that, then I'll be okay. If I can't find a good way to meet that, then my position is simply going to be bad. And all I did was play this one bad move. I haven't played anything right up to this moment. There's one bad move, knight to c6, and actually after this move, my position gets worse and worse. And my opponent, excellent play from him, and he punished me well there. But it shows you critical moments of the game. In chess, you should play natural moves very quickly, but when you get to a critical moment, so what I mean by that is, if you can tell the tide is about to change, you only get 2 or 3 of these in each game of chess. If you can handle those moments well, they are what win. That's basically what gives you the points, helps you win games. I did not do that well here, and I deserved to lose. But my opponent also played an excellent game there. So well done to my opponent. But hopefully you all got something from that game, no matter the result, no matter what our ratings are at this level. It's pretty irrelevant. Okay, look, I think we're going to now go and finish off the puzzles I had prepared, and then we'll call it a day, so whenever we get through them. And I think I have 2 more puzzles set up, so let's... Oh, maybe I just went back there. I'd hope I didn't just... Okay. Oh, no, I'm going to have to set them up again now. Oh, no, they are there. Are they there? They're there. Okay. All I have to do is just change the board about a bit, so just bear with me. a little bit more. Actually, I'll tell you what I do. This is great. Yeah. Okay. After that, just to give me a chance to, because I've been talking so much, and to set up the next puzzle position. And I hope you didn't see that. I'm going to now show you. I was talking about the Gibraltar competition coming up, and the Gibraltar competition is competition where I commentate on. Let me just get rid of some of these annoying. Okay, and it starts in a week and a half, and I think Hikaru Nakamura is playing, Aronian is playing. I'm commentating with an English IM, Jovanka Huska, really nice person, really looking forward to doing the commentary there. And like I say, this starts in a week and a half, and you can tune in. It should be broadcast on Chess TV as well. I might try to find a way to put it on my Twitch channel. That'd be cool, so you might be able to watch it on my Twitch channel. By the way, thank you to Skanitz, who just subscribed to my channel. That's what I'm trying to do at the moment, build up subscribers. If I get enough subscribers, I'll try to do a stream every day. That'd be my ideal situation, if I can make enough money doing that. But one of the great things about Gibraltar is it's in this ideal location. It used to actually be they said in the old days it's on they thought the pillar was the pillar of Hercules, and it's when you sort of, the Gibraltar Rock was a very famous thing, even when they were trying to search for Atlantis and things. That they mentioned this pillar of Hercules. But one of the good things about the chess is there's always an activity in the evening, and one of the best activities, one of the most funniest activities in the evening, is an activity called Battle of the Sexes, and it's where you have a team of females from the tournament playing a team of males from the tournament. And I've got a video now. It's only 2.5 minutes long from the evening activities. And what I'd ask you to do is just sit back and enjoy it. And this is where the women play the men. It's all light-hearted. And try to see how many chess players you can name. So that's my little challenge to you. Enjoy the video and see how many chess players you can name. So I'm just going to set that up. Then we'll finish the show with a couple more puzzles. So this is from Gibraltar. It's voted the best open chess tournament in the world. I would say Reykjavik and Gibraltar are the two ones. Gibraltar's nice and hot. Reykjavik, very friendly. These two tournaments are the best two opens that I've been to, and I think the best in the world. So let's have a look at the video now. Let me just set it up. just got to relax and be stupid. And I hope you get that kind of vibe from the tournament Gibraltar, that it is kind of a relax and be stupid kind of tournament in the evenings when the chess is not going on, and so many people were having fun there. And the great thing about Gibraltar, I think one of the best things about Gibraltar is they really support women's chess, because the women's prizes are fantastic. They're really high, and you get loads and loads of female players turning up to play, which is a great thing. I think it's great to encourage any minority players. Oh, I've got a cramp in my leg. Oh, that's a good way to finish it. So if you get a chance to go to any tournaments, then you go either to ones I recommend: Reykjavik, probably number one actually, and Gibraltar, number one as well. Reykjavik and Gibraltar, they're the ones I recommend. My tournament lowdown. Aldo's saying it looks like Conquest has all the fun. Well, he does surround himself, Aldo, with a lot of female players, should we say? Stuart Conquest was the guy with the funny hat. He's an English grandmaster, lovely guy as well, and he's one of the driving forces behind Gibraltar. But surely that's what chess should be. It's a cool game. You should play your serious game in the day, go and have a laugh in the evening. Wouldn't everyone want to have that kind of life? Right, we'll finish off the show now. Back to the chess, and this is the last puzzle, and it's following on from the theme of earlier, which we looked at, to do with basically shutting down your opponent's pieces. And this is a puzzle where it's white to play and win. Now, if you just suggest the first move, it doesn't mean anything. You've got to find the whole sequence here. And I'm hoping this will train you in the idea of thinking ahead, even though my brain's totally gone now. I don't know if I'd be able to solve this, but try to work it out. Try to work it out sort of move by move. So we have some suggestions here, and one from Milend Brahim of going c7, which is indeed the correct move. Check, king e5. Let's have a look at that. It's white to play and win. So the first suggestion is c7, and this is obviously a very good idea. We're trying to go here. I should mention that black can't castle here. If black could castle here, it might be a different story. I don't know. Can black castle? That's quite weird. But if rook check, where do you put the king? So we're doing this little stages. If your king goes to e5, it's a draw straight away, because the rook becomes behind the pawn, and it should be easy to see that position is actually just a very simple draw. So king d5 is the correct way to play. And again, I'll make it a bit easier. We'll go to this bit. How, first of all, can black defend here? I'm just going to turn the radio down. How can black defend? It looks like black can't stop c8, queen. First question I'm going to ask you, how can black defend? How can black defend? Well, National Patzer, who just beat me, saw the idea straight away, and it is a two-move thing. Don't just tell me one move; it's two moves. I don't think e6 helps. Let's have a look, because if you play e6, can't I just play bishop takes e6 even? Is there? I think I'm just going to queen next move. I think I just take that pawn. But the way to defend is a very nice defensive idea. Is rook d6 check. You have to guard this square, otherwise rook c6. So king c5, and now rook to d8. And it might look like in this position, black has managed to get the draw. But the next move is a really beautiful move. And the next move is really the winning move. And this is the real true solution. White to play and win here. White to play and win here. And you're right, side chess dealer, there was a pin in that last position with rook h7. Just looking at the chat in the box now. So we have a lot of suggestions, and try to give me a reason. Don't just say move. What's the reason? And the way to solve this, I'll give you a clue. Think about what black is going to do next. This is the thing. And Cream Style, who is doing very well, hello Cream Style, has got the right move. The right move here. Let's think about what opponents can do. Well, black wants to play e5 and king e7, when you'll never be able to maneuver his rook away from that square. I mean, let's say you go king c6, e5. And at some point, your rook, your pawn is going to have to be exchanged for the rook. I mean, what can you do here? You can go king here, king e7, and this is just going to be a draw eventually. So you need to stop e5. And as Cream Style says, the right move is bishop to e6, and now we have something called Zugzwang. And this is following on from our theme of trying to not just think of our own ideas, this is the quickest way you can get better at chess, but to think of what our opponent's next move is going to be and to stop that or make it difficult for him. And this move, bishop to e6, really defines that concept, because now black can't play the move he wants to play, e5, and the word Zugzwang means that basically in chess terms, the person whose move black here is in Zugzwang, and whatever move he plays will basically make his position a lot worse. He doesn't want to move. He'd rather not move. And well, if he moves his king here, you now take the rook. Clearly, it's not defended, so there's only one move, and the only move is king rook to a8. And what is the winning finish here? So how do we now finish? We've done the first stage. The second stage of this puzzle. Think what black's options are. Black does not have many options in this position. He does not have many options. He can only move his king. So how do we win now? If we go here queen, it is a draw immediately. You can't checkmate with a bishop and king. So that's why you don't want a queen straight away, because you only draw. And this position is winning for white. It is not a draw. It's actually winning. Don't just tell me one move. Try to tell me the next move. Okay, a lot of you are just giving me one move answers. In chess, you need to think a bit further, but it is indeed king b6. Very, very funny here. If you saw one of my videos in my YouTube when I played Titled Tuesday, I was playing John Ludwig Hammer, which ended in a draw. And king c6 is very reminiscent of that. Black can now draw by playing check, king b7, taking on e6, and after queen, king f7. And this is a draw because black will put his rook on d6 and get a fortress. And this is precisely what I had in my game against John Ludwig Hammer. It's a draw. White can't break that fortress. For example, even queen c4, I just go here. And at some point, this rook will come to d6. You can check me, it doesn't matter. And when you try to move your king, I put my rook here, and you can never break through. Your king is stuck on this area of the board. So that is a technical ending, a draw. It's a fortress. So the only way to win is to go to b6 to stop the check. And now black only has one move. Every other move loses immediately. If he goes rook back here, we can go king b7. And now black is in proper Zugzwang because he can't go rook a8 anymore. So he has to go king f8. And now king b7. Where does the rook move? The rook has to go to e8. And what's the final move? What is the final move? Yeah, I didn't get hammered by Hammer, which makes a nice change. John Ludwig Hammer has beaten Magnus Carlsen before, and you know he's the second of Magnus Carlsen, so I actually should have beat him in that game. And the winning move, well done to that very long name in Twitch, Legan, wait for it, Diary Twitch, whatever that long name means. And on the Chess TV chat, well done to Nelson Moore and others who now find bishop to d7. And finally, we've restricted our opponent's rook and we win the game. Well, that's taken us to the end of this stream, this 2-hour stream. It's your last chance for a while to subscribe to my Twitch channel. If you enjoyed it, please do. It's only $5 a month, so it'd be really mean a lot if you subscribe. It helps support me build up this and do this more often. I want to do this once a day, at least 5 times a week at some point, if I can make enough money from it. Thank you for everyone who's donated as well. It's very kind of you for the extra donations. But if you do subscribe, it gives me, a great start of doing this more often. And if you want to subscribe, it's up above. It's the green tab above, so you can subscribe there. So hit the green tab and that will help you subscribe. If you're an Amazon Prime member, you can also subscribe through Amazon Prime just by basically, you can do it for free. It's free if you're Amazon Prime. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll put this up on YouTube. I think I might do it for tomorrow's video, so I have a day off YouTubing. It might be Stream Friday. That sounds like the correct thing to do. So you can look over it, look at the puzzles again if you want to, but do check out my YouTube channel. But anyway, do I get money from Prime subs? Someone asked. You know what? I have no idea. I have no idea at all. I hope so, but I don't know. Basically, every time someone subs, the way it works is I think half the money goes to Twitch, half the money goes to the channel. And, if you can build that up to get a monthly fee, then obviously you can maybe make it into your full-time thing. I mean, that would be an aim for a lot of chess players, wouldn't it? To teach chess, to enjoy chess, to show the love of chess to a bigger audience as their job. I mean, what a better way to do it? So that is something I hopefully, maybe it's a dream to do at some point. You never know. You've got to try these things. Okay, so how do you subscribe for free through Amazon Prime? Well, hello, Chess Bay. Didn't see you hiding there. Chess Bay's a real big supporter of loads of people. If you saw the John Bartholomew match yesterday, real big help to Chess Bay there. But yeah, let's do it anyway. And I'll be back again streaming. When am I going back? Well, I've got a chess event this weekend. I might try to do a 1 hour blitz stream tomorrow, even in the daytime, maybe a similar time. So if you want to keep an eye when I do stream, follow me on Twitter or Facebook. Both of them are GingerGM, and the links are below the video here, so you can follow me there. I post up there when I'm going to do the next thing, and my YouTube channel. Okay, well, thank you so much. I'm pretty cream crackered, as in knackered now, and it's hard work doing these streams. And I'll see you, especially when you're not bloody eating, you're drinking bloody juices your whole life. And I'll see you all again, hopefully very soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's such a pleasure to see so many nice people in the chat. It really does make it what it is. So thank you to everyone, or each and one of you in the chat, in my Twitch channel, and everyone in the chat over at chess.com as well. Thank you so much. And goodbye. Have a good rest of your day, night, whatever you're doing. Cheers for now. Oh, I feel really headachy and lightheaded.
Oh no.